Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump and his war of words with the socialist Spicegirls continues unabated. President yesterday, during a media avail after meeting with the president of Pakistan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Khan, to
work on that Kashmir deal.
I guess discuss adjudicating that conflict with India.
Okay. I won't hold my breath.
No, it doesn't. I don't know that a resolution to that is coming anytime soon, but nor is a resolution, I think, to the war of words between Trump and the socialist Spicegirls.
Well, I think they're very bad for our country. I really think they must hate our country. I think the four congressmen we're talking about, the congresswomen, what they've said about Israel, what they've said about our country, when they talk about disgusting people, when they talk the way they talk, when the one mentioned that brown people should speak for brown people and Muslim people should speak for Muslim people. And you hear all this. It's not what our country is all about. No, I think they're very bad for our country. I think they're very bad for the Democrat Party. I think you see that. And they're pulling the Democrats way left. Nobody knows how to handle them. I feel they're easy to handle. To me, they're easy to handle because they're just out there. They're very bad for our country, absolutely.
They are out there, and they think Trump is very bad for our country. Rashida Tlaib at the NAACP convention in Detroit yesterday.
Hello! Yeah, I'm not going nowhere. Not until I impeach this president.
All right, play her off. And Ilhan Omar tweeting, you must accept this racist president wants every black and brown person deported and Muslims banned. End of the world Spice, AOC tweeting, I think that all people should be free to be here and in our communities. Okay.
So tear down the wall.
All right.
Yes.
There you go. Why would President Trump ever want this back and forth to end? To answer that question, we're pleased to be joined by Ed Morrissey, senior editor for hotair.com, columnist for the week. Ed, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to be with you guys again.
So is there any reason why President Trump should stop this back and forth and baiting them to continue it?
No, I mean, I think you got to be careful on how you do it, but no, I mean, this is what he's trying to do is he's trying to elevate these four to be the face of the Democratic Party, and what Nancy Pelosi is trying to do is trying like mad to keep that from happening. There's going to be a vote today on a resolution supporting Israel, and this is Nancy Pelosi's attempt to try to get this on the record before Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib put up a pro-BDS resolution on the floor. And so they're trying to, Nancy Pelosi's trying to quickly marginalize these four, but Trump is provoking them into greater excess.
Well, the other issue, too, is speaking of those two, Brotherly Love Spice and MF or Spice, as we call them here, they're also on their way to Israel.
Right.
And that should be Tlaib and Omar in Israel should be quite something to behold.
Well, I think that when this first came up, people were speculating as to whether Benjamin Netanyahu would let him into the country, and I said at the time, no, of course he's going to let them into the country. There's no reason to keep them from doing that. Plus, Netanyahu's a pretty wily political operator, and I think he's going to try to milk it for all the propaganda he can milk it for, too.
Yeah.
And they're going to be focusing on these people to catch anything idiotic that they have to say, anything insulting that they have to say, and they're going to magnify it tremendously. I think that first off, you don't introduce a pro-BDS resolution and then say you're going to go on a fact-finding mission. I mean, that's just it's really idiotic. On its face, it's like maybe do the fact-finding mission first if you are actually interested in finding facts.
Well, this is political theater, and I have a feeling Jan Schakowsky probably arranged this because remember the point in time when she was always anytime Omar was on CNN, Jan was sitting right next to her. And they were answering questions.
Not
together.
lately.
But that's so. For those of us who are familiar with this pro-BDS resolution, can you explain what it is?
Well, the BDS is it is for boycotting, divestment, and I don't even remember the
Sanction.
S because this is such and sanction. Boycott, divest, and sanction. Thank you very much. It's aimed at forcing Israel to allow a Palestinian state on Palestinian terms, which would be the right of return, et cetera, which would destroy the Jewish state of Israel. And Israel is simply not going to do that. And the way that they argue this is, and this is explicit in Ilhan Omar's resolution, is that because we have supported boycotts against Nazi Germany and against apartheid South Africa, this is really no big deal. BDS is really no big deal. It's no big deal apparently to compare and aggregate Israel into the same company as Nazi Germany, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. And so this is the type of thing that Ilhan Omar is going to be carrying into Israel, and I suspect that is not going to be terribly well received there. But we'll see. Maybe she comes back and says, hey, you know what? I'm completely wrong. I doubt it, but it's possible.
Yeah, right. Also, it's worth noting the BDS movement is backed by the terrorist organization called Hamas, too.
Hamas,
So
yeah.
that's additionally problematic. I wanted
Well, it's
to.
on behalf of Hamas.
Yes,
I mean, the
right.
whole thing is on behalf of Hamas.
Right, that's
It's
right.
not even on behalf of Fatah. It's on behalf of Hamas.
Yes. I'm sure that'll be a point of spirited dialogue between her and Bibi. If the president were a clear and present danger and had engaged in high crimes and misdemeanors, the Democrats would burn the midnight oil to conduct impeachment hearings instead of going off on a summer vacation after Mueller's testimony. No constitutional crisis. That's Bradley Blakeman writing in thehill.com. Tomorrow's circus, as Trey Gowdy suggested it would be, with Bob Mueller. I think what do you think is the potential for any truly renewed effort to move on Trump over his or his campaign operatives' involvement with anybody with a Russian last name in 2016?
Somewhere between slim and none. I mean, it's going to be a circus, but it's going to be an unusual kind of circus where the ringleader sits in the middle of the center ring and doesn't do anything, and everybody is supposed to sit around and provide the entertainment around him. I mean, Mueller has made it very clear that he's not going to go beyond the report. There's a letter that came out, I guess last night, but it's being reported today, that the Department of Justice sent to Mueller on his request when he asked for guidance as to how to respond to questioning. And they told him, as you said in your statement on May 29th, you can't go beyond the report. That the report is the boundary past which you can't comment. And Gerald Nadler is up in arms today saying it was incredibly arrogant for the Department of Justice to instruct Robert Mueller. Apparently, it was incredibly arrogant to respond to Mueller's request for the instruction, but Nadler doesn't say that. But Nadler, in the same breath, says, well, it's not really going to make any difference because Mueller said the same thing 2 months ago. I mean, it's a joke. The whole thing's a put on. It's going to be Mueller getting up there, reading from his report, and there may be some people who didn't read the report and who are going to be shocked to find out that there's some of the material that's in there. But honestly, it flopped when it came out in April. It flopped when Mueller made this big pronouncement in May. The American people really don't care about this, and that's the reason why Democrats are still going on their vacation in August, because there's no point.
Yeah. I mean, so you think this will be a dud for Democrats?
I think it's going to be a spin opportunity. I think they're going to get some mileage out of it. They'll have dinner on some of the major news outlets for a couple of days, and after that, there's going to be this massive wave of ennui that sweeps across America.
Yes, exactly.
That might roll up on the shores of the Beltway bubble, but that's it. That's going to be the result of this.
Well, also too, to those who argue, well, yeah, nobody reads the report, but they're going to watch the movie and this drama that plays out with Mueller. Perhaps you've never seen Bob Mueller testify. He has all the charisma of an oil painting. So if you think you're going to captivate people with Bob Mueller offering legalese, extended legalese in response to esoteric questions from Jerry Nadler when he's not playing with his zipper, then you got another thing coming if you think people are going to watch 5 hours of that.
And on top of which, That's Mueller when he isn't particularly one way or the other about testifying before Congress. Although apparently he's never been a fan of it. He usually would assign that to one of his deputies rather than go in his own place. But in this case, he's told them, "Don't call me because I have said everything I am going to say in this report." They called him anyway. He is not going to be happy about getting dragged out there in front of the cameras. And I suspect that he's going to make sure that everybody on the Democratic side of both of those panels understands just how unhappy he is to be basically regurgitating exactly what he wrote to them in the report.
And he's going to be in front of the House Judiciary first and then the Intelligence Committees?
I believe that's correct. I think part of the Intel Committee is going to be in closed session, I believe. But the Judiciary Committee one, I think, is fully in public. And so I believe that that's the order.
All right. We'll get our...
In a programming note, we're going to have it here for you live.
We'll be...
In case you want to listen on our podcast.
We'll have our Pop-Tarts. We'll have our Pop-Tarts and everything ready for the scintillating hearing tomorrow. All right, Ed Morrissey, senior editor, hotair.com, columnist for the weekend. Thanks.